How's it going?
What's going, guys? Shivani ready? Deb Shivani, is he ready?
He looks like he's on froze mode.
A little bit. I'm frozen. What's up, everybody? Welcome, Ring Psychology Podcast. It's been a little while since we've done one. Deb, you good? He was. Good.
Technology is not his best friend right now.
Has it really
There
been
you go.
2 months? Has it really been 2 months since the last time we did this?
2 months?
Fuck
2 months
time.
was 2 months was our last show.
Wow.
Yeah, that's too long.
That's too long. That's too long for that.
We apologize. We definitely need to be a little bit more consistent when it comes to
the show.
But we've been so busy with everything else that we've been doing that it just, it's just, and it's not like we haven't been talking about wrestling on the other shows.
So
but-
literally 2 months before my birthday was the last time we did a show, October the 12th.
Goddamn, before he came here.
Wow.
Yes.
That was a
Yes.
Apologies.
And a lot has happened since then.
Yes,
Ton of
a lot has happened in the soap opera since that last show back in October. But welcome. Yes, I am Dub Shivani. Finally, my microphone wants to unmute itself, but I'm joined by actually, it's a collaboration there in Folsom as Mizzle and JP have combined forces and Wonder Twin powers activate.
Oh yes.
Or is it?
Yeah, we'll get her done. We'll get her done.
There's that too. But glad you're with us here. As we are on the road to the Royal Rumble.
You know what? I'm a little upset that my birth month has no PLE anymore.
Yeah, that sucks. Because
I don't have
time. For the longest time, like the Super Bowl was in January for a long time. Now it's moved to February. Now they're moving the Royal Rumble to February. I'm just like, why? What's that kind of is like
the disrespect that the beginning of the year gets now out of WWE.
So what are we looking at now? So they're obviously Saturday night's main event is going to be
that's
taking
still in January.
place.
They're going to have one in January.
The next one is in January, I think, on the 25th.
Okay. But so maybe that's why we don't have the Royal Rumble in January, because we have Saturday night.
Think of it like this, as we're going to go back to the Federation years. So basically, as you know, back in those days, there was only 4 pay-per-views a year.
Yep.
Yes.
WrestleMania, Survivor Series, and SummerSlam. So obviously, a month that there wasn't a pay-per-view, your special event was Saturday night's main event.
I think going back to that would be.
I think that's what they might be going back to, per se.
I like it, Dave. I like it.
They may even go back to the in your houses for like specials, right? For like Money in the Bank.
In Your House was very good. I did enjoy In Your Houses as well.
Yeah. They could possibly go back to doing that as well, but I think, well, especially what they're doing right now with everything being pre-taped to give wrestlers time off and everything. I think what they're really looking into right now is definitely what Vince McMahon didn't, and that's the health and safety of all the wrestlers, being able to give more time off, being able to give, because giving people time off gives you time to be able to play with other superstar stories, being able to develop everything else outside of obviously your top
bring
stars.
Young talent in as well.
Exactly. It gives
you some run.
They already have such a gigantic roster that it's almost necessary to give your top guys and stuff like that time off.
And you can keep story fresh kind of fresh. You don't have to rush them. You can kind of extend it like what they're doing with the Bloodline. Stuff like that, even though they're injured right now. But
I mean, that War Games match was
brutal. Bronson Reed coming off the top and how they slowed it down.
As soon as I saw him jump, I was like, okay, one of two things is going to happen here. He is absolutely going to destroy and injure whoever it is he's going to land on.
Yes.
Or they're going to move and he's going to destroy and injure himself.
Which happened.
And that's exactly what happened.
Exactly what happened.
that's too big of a body to come down from that height, especially from the angle that he came down on, like
He's
the
massive.
legs and everything first.
He's
Fuck
massive.
no.
Oh, he's massive.
That's a 300+ pound human being, jumping from that high.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy shit. That's not like that's a way different type of bump to take. I think in order to prevent that injury, he probably had to have landed the shot. Him missing,
Then you're killing Roman.
that whether it was Roman, whether it was CM Punk, whoever it was, somebody other than the table had to be there to absorb
Something.
at least a little bit of that hit, because the way he hit, no, he had to have been more like parallel.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, he came down like almost did a fucking worm, but his leg did the worm, not his body. So,
I don't think the writers thought that through, or the wrestlers even thought that through.
but you know what? I'm
anything
sure
happened.
because they practice this shit. This
This is
isn't
true.
something that they don't
This is
like.
true.
So Bronson Reed had probably practiced it, with the padding down there and all the other, he probably practiced it beforehand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Got the confidence enough to be able to go, okay, yeah, no, we're good. Let's do it.
Yeah.
They went through it enough to be able to go, okay, we can make this work. It works 9 times out of 10. On that 10th time, it happened live, and there goes your leg, and you're now out for 6 to 9 months, however that's going to take. Because again, such a big human being,
And how fast he came down too.
like that. That's a lot when it comes to like rehab process.
Mhm.
That's a lot. So I mean, I hope he comes back soon, because I think Bronson Reed was, and I know there's a lot of fans who don't like him, and
For what?
mainly for the reasons that they don't get him.
Okay.
They don't really understand. They just kind of think of him as a big body that doesn't. If we remember his New Japan that time that he went and he beat Okada.
Ooh.
Okay, like he was being pushed up as this monster.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing great work out in Japan.
Hmm.
That's why they brought him back to begin with, because Triple H, especially during that time, has been, or especially now, has been a very big advocate for Japanese wrestlers.
Agreed.
A lot of the roster right now is Japanese wrestlers, giving Shinsuke a push now, which I mean, we can get into that when it comes to him beating LA Knight. People were upset about it, but
Makes sense.
there's a reason why
Yep.
it happened that way. And I think a title like the United States title, if it makes sense, you can hot potato it. You don't have to have significantly long reigns with it, as long as the story makes sense and the champions who are winning them are legit.
Agreed.
If you can popcorn the WWE, like if you can hot potato and popcorn around the goddamn WWE title, you can do that easily with the United States title.
Yeah.
I think with the United States title, they should have kept it as like one of those like the open challenge. Like when John Cena kind of started doing that open challenge with the United States title, that should have been something that, this is a mainstay of the United. Like think of it, your TV title almost.
Yep.
Every night somebody comes down and
tries to
and wins it. Yep. And because of the amount of randomness of who can come down, it's almost like, damn, anybody can win it. So you can hot potato it a little bit.
Yes, you can.
So it going to Shinsuke, I think people are like, oh, LA Knight should have had it. No. We got to understand LA Knight, especially now, is at a point where he could be good as the champion, because he's a very good, arrogant prick. I want to see him as a heel, to be completely honest. LA Knight heel is must see TV. I'm not
agree.
gonna lie.
I agree.
You
I
know,
agree.
Watches Eli Drake run in Impact Wrestling if you don't know.
And
his Eli Drake run in the NWA if you don't know.
the guy can talk. I know people are like, oh, he's like a mixture of Stone Cold and The Rock and everything. I'm
Okay,
like,
cool.
and
So sweet.
so what? If it works and the people are into it, who would get and he thinks the exact same way. I don't give a fuck what any of y'all think. Y'all can call it whatever it is you want to. It's working because every time I do this,
Hey, night.
the whole crowd.
Yeah. Hey, wait, Dub got me right. The moment he left that whatever that other character he was.
Oh,
yeah,
the
Maximum
maximum male models.
Yeah, I'm like, just like how I feel about Pretty Deadly. I hit Dub like, who is these jabronis?
Pretty deadly though.
They are kind of good in the ring,
bro. I'm not gonna lie to you.
They're kind of good in the ring.
Entertaining.
I just don't like their interviews, man. But they're entertaining in the ring.
They're extra. They're supposed to be. They're supposed to be these flamboyant.
So that means they're doing their job. If I don't like them, that's how they're doing. They're doing their job.
Yep.
As professionals, yeah.
Yep.
100%.
They're doing exactly what they need to do.
Yep. Can't stand them.
You don't have to for right now, but eventually they're going to rub off on you, and you're going to be excited when they win the title at one point.
I respect their wrestling. I just can't do their interviews. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I see what they do in the ring.
They got work,
more work to do to be polished, but they're pretty good in the ring.
Yeah.
I just don't like their interviews.
I love the War Raiders.
Yes.
Going back to the original ROH.
Yes.
Beast tag team that ran Rub Shot for years in the Indies.
This is how they should have been.
Oh, from the very beginning.
Yes.
From the very beginning, this is how they should have been booked.
I like this character that they're at right now.
Because now Triple H said, y'all do you. He gave them the reins.
It seems like it's a lot of freedom going on in the locker room now.
And I think that's going to make things so much better.
Yeah.
I mean, just go back to Paul Heyman's Hall of Fame speech when he said that the creativity that we're allowed to flow with now under Triple H, you're seeing it. Because I mean,
and it's working.
Some stories probably would have been watered down by now if Vince was still in charge. But real quickly before we go back to WWE talk, there was a couple announcements going on here. First off, which this makes no sense whatsoever, but there was some announcement by Tony Khan that yes, indeed, AEW will be beginning to stream on Max effective New Year's Day 2025, and eventually
they just couldn't let Netflix win, right? They just could not let Netflix get their due. I mean, that's good for AEW. I like it. This is what you're supposed to do. It's almost like they're trying to do it.
Competition.
Yeah, what WCW tried to do with WWE. You're not gonna. The Megatron is not gonna go down.
Don't you run from me. Don't you run from me. I'm right here with you. But you know what?
I really don't think it's competition per se.
But I do like the move though.
Because that's the move everybody needs to. Because
streaming
again,
service is the way to go
I mean, we got to call it for what it is.
Space.
Cable TV, all that. It's done for now.
Are we watching cable TV right now?
The NFL. We're watching on fucking Prime. Okay.
When do we watch the Christmas episodes?
All on Netflix. the NFL is slowly making because you're seeing it now. Like everybody said, like, oh, the numbers are down. The numbers are down. No shit, because one, everybody's streaming, and two, nobody's streaming legally. Like everybody's doing their own thing now because
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't know either. I'm just saying what other people do. I'm just it's at a point now where you're not going to get away from it. Nope. You need to go to what everybody is watching, to what everybody is doing. And that's all streaming on Netflix, on Prime, on Paramount. They have it now. Disney, Apple Plus or Apple TV is going to be getting some deals soon.
Yep.
All of that is moving over. Hulu, all of that shit is moving over. Mm-hmm. And you got to be at the point now, or I mean, are we going to die with it, or are we going to move on and go where the real money is at?
Is Saturday night exclusively on Peacock? Is that where that's going to be running? Because all content for WWE is now moved to Netflix. Netflix is going to have the whole catalog.
Yeah. And also
And Netflix is now going to be $40 a month.
Special PLEs outside
Already
the US
22.
that the WWE has, that's going to be also on Netflix. So, I mean, like I said, they wanted to get their stuff right to make sure that there was no buffering during the NFL because
no, there was no buffering.
Oh, you think the NFL was going to be tolerating buffering? The NFL? We already said like they better get their shit together because the fans, like pro wrestling fans and stuff like that, would give them shit. The NFL, they destroy people. That's what they do for a living. They make sure that these deals are ironclad. If you fuck this up, guess who's going to be paying? Guess who's going to own Netflix after all of this is done if y'all don't do what you're supposed to do?
The NFL.
The NFL. Like, that's just what's going to happen.
But no, there was no single buffering. So, and I believe that.
And Beyonce was there too. So fucking Illuminati was like, no, we got to get the message out there.
We figured out one time that she put the lights out. So
here's the official stuff about AEW and Max. So it says that all live AEW programming airing on Warner Brothers networks will also be available to stream on Max and on demand after their live broadcast.
Oh, so not during the live, after.
Dynamite, Collision, and Rampage.
Yeah, but you know what that means, though? Nobody's going to watch it live.
Well, there's nobody there anyway.
I was going to say, nobody's at the live show. You know.
We'll see. Well, that
people can wait one day.
I'll watch it after that. I mean,
Dynamite, Collision, and Rampage. All new pay-per-view library content.
What about Ricochet making an ass of himself, huh?
Through the end of 2024, will be made available on Max on a rolling basis. At launch, all new Dynamite episodes and pay-per-views from the company's inaugural 2019 year will be available, as well as more than 2 months of the most recent programming that airs across the networks. Of course, we know AEW airs on TNT and TBS. Now here's the ironic twist.
We need to call a wrestler.
Because obviously WCW went out of business, obviously, after they forced Ted Turner to merge. Because, as a lot of people know, the execs in Turner in Atlanta did not want wrestling on their network, but because
they did not.
Ted Turner liked it, he said, I want it on there.
We like wrestling. Put wrestling on.
So, once the merger happens, WCW gets kicked off. Now, how ironic that it returns to Turner after the whole thing goes down and the time and the merger and all that stuff.
You know why? Because those big business executives who think they know shit don't know shit.
Of course.
Isn't that something?
They base all of their decisions on what they personally like. Not what the people like. What they personally like. If they can't put their hands in it to make it look like whatever it is that they want it to look like, they don't give a fuck.
Correct.
And with the amount of egos that are in professional wrestling, you think they were going to allow that to happen? You think Vince McMahon was going to allow that to happen? TV execs telling him how to run the show?
No.
It happened, and now he's gone. Well, I mean, we know why he's gone. The real reason why he's gone.
USA was almost about done with him.
Well, here's an interesting story.
Why he made the moves.
Now, when the move was made, when, of course, Dick Ebersol, who was running NBC, got Saturday Night's Main Event, he got Saturday Night's Main Event mainly for Jesse the Body Ventura, who, of course, made his return back to the WWE back on the very first episode of Saturday Night's Main Event, which took place back on December the 14th. When NBC first got it back in 1995, as we know, Jesse left to go do Predator, Arnold Schwarzenegger's movie.
Yes, he did.
Now, Vince was going to replace him, obviously, with Bobby the Brain Heenan, which, of course, the Brain and Gorilla Monsoon, we can do a show all day of just how they are one of the great broadcasting duos in wrestling history. But Dick Ebersol specifically got Saturday Night's Main Event because he wanted Jesse. So much to Vince's chagrin, Vince had to go get Jesse back to put Jesse back on Saturday Night's Main Event because Vince was not going to let Jesse come back. So
Wow, I did not know that.
yeah, no, yeah.
I'm actually happy Jesse Ventura came back to Saturday Night Main
Same. Same. It just felt right.
There's like an old school authenticity that kind of comes with it. And he's back to being heel Jesse too, which is nice.
Oh, he's always going to be heel Jesse.
Yeah. I thought they were gonna try and make it like make him be like a good old I'm glad to be here,
no
type of BS, but no.
Because I'm pretty sure because he just said his son Tyrell is his agent. So that's how the deal happened. That's how the deal happened. Number one, and number two, now he's getting his rightful residuals because when the WWE Network first started, a lot of Jesse's commentary you didn't hear it. You would hear Gorilla Monsoon and Vince McMahon, but you wouldn't hear Jesse. And of course, all of us that grew up watching the Federation were like, wait a minute, where's Jesse's voice? Because Vince did not want to pay Jesse because Vince was still salty that Jesse beat him. And as Jesse has said many years, he got his wrestling retirement because of Vince, because of Jesse sued him, and Vince lost, and Vince had to pay him money. So now Jesse's getting residuals. So now
Talk about some of the pettiest individuals that ever walked this planet. Vince McMahon was definitely up there with petty individuals.
But obviously, now that Vince is kicked
And by the way, fuck you, Hulk Hogan, for stopping the progress and making sure that wrestlers actually got what they need, you fuck. Just to make sure that you got your elevated, top spot. Piece of trash. Fuck you, brother.
So what, he was one of the ones that blocked it?
Yeah, he was the one who ratted out Ventura.
Yeah. Jesse was trying to unionize.
Oh, that's what was mentioned in the Vince documentary.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
Jesse wanted to unionize.
That's right, yes.
And Terry Jean Balea was like, that's not going to work for me, brother. Because he would have lost his big-time money.
Yep.
Because he knew anyone that had a program with Hogan knew they were going to make some money.
Yep.
And of course, when Terry testified in Vince's federal raid,
Why did that song?
Hogan, basically said, and that's when Jesse found out because they were friends up until that point. And then, of course, when Hogan got to WCW '94, Jesse was still there as a broadcaster. He was the number one. He was the number one color commentator until Bobby Heenan got there, obviously. And then Jesse got pushed back to doing Worldwide and other shows, and then he would do like a couple of matches during the pay-per-views and clashes with Shivani.
Yep.
Yep. It would be kind of hard. It would be kind of hard to have a three-man booth with Shivani taking it from Heenan and Jesse. And then basically Hogan got Jesse fired from WCW, and he thought that would be the last time you ever see Jesse in wrestling. Until SummerSlam '99, obviously. But, I mean, like I said, I can appreciate the Hulk Hogan character.
Poetic justice. We're all glad that Jesse Ventura is back, and we all hate Hulk Hogan. Like
I said, I can appreciate
that's some poetic justice, isn't it?
I can appreciate the character that Terry Jean Balea played, but as far as Terry Jean Balea, the human being, if he really is a believer in God like he says he is, well, he better start asking for some forgiveness.
Yeah.
Because
God turned his phone on silent when Terry calls. When Scary Terry gives a phone call, he says, "You know what? You've done too much."
How are you going to so basically, you're going to fire a promo girl because she was black.
Yep.
And your beer probably tastes like crap anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Wild shit, man. You learn things about people that, especially some that you look up to, and especially all the history that went along with the character.
Mm-hmm.
when you see the fact that the actual person is a piece of shit, I mean, I know some people can separate the art from the artist, but it just puts a stain on it because you even know how much politicking he did for that fucking character,
Yep.
whether it made sense or not. You know, so it's kind of like, well, yeah, there's a history, but it's a very tainted history.
Mhm.
And not to mention, Jesse owns the name Jesse the Body Ventura. He owns it, not Vince. Another reason why Vince got mad. Because he couldn't own it.
You know, people getting taken out of the Hall of Fame and they're not even being inducted because of one night that they pissed off Vince McMahon.
Well, yeah, because I mean, like I said,
Didn't Titus O'Neil get fired for like a week because of that brush up he had with him on stage that one time?
Titus got fired?
possibly did, but I mean,
I would have put it past him.
well, but I mean, like I said, like how are some of these people that are not in? Okay, now, and this is no disrespect to Coco Beware. Coco Beware is very entertaining. Do I think? Do I
Yes.
think he's Hall of Fame? Do I think he's Hall of Fame worthy? Borderline-ish, but
Coco Beware? I mean,
but my point is, you're going to put Coco in you're going to put Coco Beware in and still deny Demolition.
What?
That part.
Wait a minute. They're not in?
No, they're not in.
You know what that tells
Axe
me?
Smash, managed by Mr. Fuji. The first 3-time WWF Tag Team Champions ever.
you know what that tells me? There's certain people in the WWE Hall of Fame that I look at and I see their characters and I'm like, there's no reason why you should be in the Hall of Fame. The only reason why you're here is because you kissed a whole lot of ass. You were Captain Brown Nose during your time.
Or you let Pat Patterson be one with you.
Yikes.
You went there.
Yikes.
Oh,
That's
you
why
went there.
Jim Ross said he's single, fellas.
Oh, you went there.
I did.
Wow.
Is this alleged? Are we saying allegedly? To just not be in trouble, or is this actual, like...
Mm.
Because he should be in jail, if that's...
Well,
If
Pat
that's the
Patterson,
actual-
well, Pat Patterson's not alive, but there is the Donahue episode that Vince was on, and they talk about Pat Patterson, which is why Pat
Wow.
Patterson left for a minute, and then eventually he came back.
Just like
Yeah.
Hogan.
I mean, but I mean, yeah. I mean,
That's wild shit. How does that, like, shit happen?
well, I mean,
Like, how do people allow that? Like, how much... Like, people are really that afraid of power. Huh. Like, we know we outnumber them, right?
Hmm.
They can't do what they do without us, right? We know this.
The money is a different subject. Like,
Eesh. Pretty wild.
but,
Pretty
I mean,
wild.
Demolition's not in.
that's crazy.
I really wish Owen Hart's widow would stop being a pain and let Owen get his flowers and put Owen in, which I know she won't. That's why she's more associated with AEW as opposed to the WWE.
So they want to put him in, but
I'm sure
his
they
wife
do.
is saying no.
I'm sure they do, but because Martha is so bitter about what Vince did not do,
Well,
What
I mean, to be completely honest, she's justified. If I'm being completely honest, like I understand, and here's where I agree, but I kind of disagree. To get his flowers that he deserves, like to make it official, sure. But in reality, anybody who's a real true fan who has been watching since the beginning, who's been seeing everything, Owen doesn't need to be in the Hall of Fame for us to know how special that he was.
Agreed.
Like
Agreed.
that he's kind of above that at that point. So like that's why I'm kind of like, especially with his wife, what Vince did was fucked up. He basically made everybody else, finish off the show with Owen's blood in the fucking ring.
Cold word.
Without it just
Cold word.
shit you don't do.
Cold
Then he
word.
tried to justify it in the documentary. Well, I would have wanted them to. Fuck no. If it was Shane or anybody else, you would have ended the goddamn show. Shut the fuck up. That is a goddamn lie if you say that. So the fact that he kept going and knowing everybody in the locker room was traumatized by the moment,
Wait a
the
minute,
fact that they
what?
had to continue wrestling, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
that's sick shit. It's stuff that you look at somebody and it's like, how do you
Wait a minute.
your empathy, your like your sympathy for the situation, you have none. You don't
No.
care.
Money. Entertainment. Money.
Everybody in that arena just watched somebody die. And you're going to continue the show like nothing happened? Like, that's crazy shit. That's a crazy way of thinking. That is like not normal behavior.
Well, it's not. But for somebody that's about money, just think about what he had to really do was refunds. And of course, but that's crazy work what he did though.
I just found out that the Russian Bear Ivan Koloff is not in the Hall of Fame.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I'm looking up list of people who should be in the Hall of Fame,
Mm-hmm.
and Ivan Koloff is one of them.
Huh.
I mean, how do you not have the guy that stopped the 8-year reign of Bruno Sammartino not in the Hall of Fame?
Simple. You just don't put him in.
Could it be because the character is what it is during this time?
I can go with that. That's understandable.
Giving the sensitivity of today's time and everything that's going on and stuff like that, given what his character was.
Yeah.
Great heel, understand, like, I completely get it. I do believe he should be in the Hall of Fame. But I'm saying there could be a driving force in that decision on why he's not.
Agreed.
Not saying that is or isn't, but could be. Because I can't think of another explanation outside of that on why he isn't.
He should.
So, I don't know.
Well, I guess if I have a question, who would be your top 5 that should be in that's not in? Obviously, we've said one, Demolition, obviously. So who would be your other 4?
I really don't know who's in or not in.
Do you have like a list of who's
That's
not in?
That's what I'm trying to find right now.
Because it's not like you retire from wrestling and you have to wait 5 years.
Wait a minute, the honky tonk. Wait. The honky tonk man's not in. What?
That's a shame. He would easily be in the top 5.
One of your greatest intercontinental champions of all time.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Not in. Interesting. Did he have beef with Vince?
And he had the longest, and he had the second longest. Well, he had the longest reign until Gunther broke it.
Oh wow!
Whoa. Wait a minute. What? Hillbilly Jim's on the what?
Hillbilly Jim not being in is an underrated travesty. Hillbilly Jim was one of my, like, when I used to watch old school wrestling, his character entertained me more than a lot of other characters during
Agreed.
that time. Hillbilly Jim was, and he was athletic as fuck for a big
Yes.
dude.
Big man can move.
Like, he was almost 7 feet. Wasn't he somewhere around like 6'8", 6'9"?
He's tall. He was a very tall man. Yes.
Big ass man moving around like that. That was like, holy shit. I was like, okay. Country boy doing his thing. I like this.
Not in the Hall of Fame.
Not in. Crazy work. I mean, shit, if the honky tonk man's not in.
That's easy.
Damn, that's. Who would that?
Okay, yes, I believe. Okay, yes. Even though they probably won't. Yes, Miss Elizabeth.
We know, EJ.
From a celebrity standpoint, Cindy Lauper should get inducted. Because I mean,
Celebrity wing?
I said celebrity wing, Cindy Lauper,
Okay.
because you don't have WrestleMania, the first one, without Cindy Lauper. It just is
Well,
what it
you
is.
could, but she was a part of it.
No, she was a huge part of it.
Mr. T was the big part of it.
That too.
Mr. T was the attraction. Cindy
Yes.
Lauper, though, she added a lot to that storyline at that time too. Who was it? God damn it! Who was the one that she managed to beat? Was it
Richter.
she beat Moolah at WrestleMania?
Wendy Richter.
Wendy
beat
Richter,
Moolah,
that's
yes,
who-
yes.
Yeah. So that's one of those like a historical, like you can remember, type moments. So yeah, like celebrity wing. I mean, shit, the Governator's in there.
Right.
You gotta have Cindy Lauper in there. Yeah, at
Definitely
least.
China as a solo performer needs to be in there.
Oh yeah, because she's in as DX, right?
She's in
Look,
as DX, but she needs to be in as the ninth wonder of the world.
because look, China. The fact that, I mean, her being in with DX, that's kind of it's deserving because obviously she was a huge part of DX,
Yes.
but on her own, I could be wrong because I don't have the memory of it because I don't remember witnessing it.
Okay.
I don't remember before China who was going toe to toe with the dudes fighting and winning Intercontinental Championship gold.
Okay.
Actually,
She was
not
first.
just once in a while. She was fighting men on a regular basis. I forget who it was when, like, her last times of being a wrestler, she had that match with, I forget what his name was, but in New Japan. She had a match in Japan. It was one of her last matches that she had. Brutal.
Oh wow.
Like, bloody. That she might as well have been fighting Minoru.
Oh.
Like, it was that type of like brutality, but like the story of it. I mean, she lost the match, but in like at the press conference, going like, "Yeah, I lost the match, but you didn't think that was gonna happen.
I like.
You didn't think I was gonna be able to take you like that, did you?
Mm-hmm.
Like you so now I'm in your head. Like now I'm looking at that going, man, China was like, especially her like I've never seen, or at that time I had never seen anybody like China. Another woman like her, that with that strength, athleticism, and just and beauty too. It's like holy crap! Like wow. When I forget, was it WrestleMania?
When she first came in, yeah.
WrestleMania X7 or X8 when she came in and she fought against God, she was on Right to Censor for a minute.
Ivory.
Who?
Ivory.
That WrestleMania when she came out just all like built
Looking
this
like Wonder
shit,
Woman.
looking damn good. Came out with the
Looking like-
fucking rockets and just
Looking like
knocked those.
looking like
Bro.
looking like the Amazon herself, Princess Diana,
Oh,
Wonder Woman.
The
yes.
Amazonian just ninth. It fit.
Yeah,
It fit.
that was her character.
You know, so the
Her-
fact that, I mean, and really, we know the reason why.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think X-Pac needs to do his due
He
diligence
won't.
and
It won't happen.
do what he needs to do in order for that decision to get made. Because it is on him.
Yeah.
It's on nobody else but him. That time that again, we all know the reason
Mm-hmm.
things went south, and that's all on Sean X-Pac Walton.
Yep.
And no, folks, I do not look like that man. Shut up.
You know, like, I'm sure he's said, you know, like, apologies and all this other stuff. Like, I've seen interviews, but not once have I seen him or heard him going to the higher ups and essentially getting on his fucking knees and begging for China to be in.
She should.
On his
She's done a lot.
knees.
You know, she
I
did.
mean, if Lita can get in, if Trish Stratus can get in, Solo.
Again, when you're talking about Hall of Famers, you're talking about people you cannot talk about the game, the wrestling, or but you can't talk about that without talking about them. Can you talk about women's wrestling without talking about China?
Nope.
No.
Absolutely not. So there's no reason why she shouldn't be in
Oh, no.
as an individual. She should be a
No.
two-time Hall of Fame.
Just like Ric Flair.
It just makes reference to how great Sherry and Medusa was, because they were the first in our era to be as far as physically gifted, and then of course Joni China took it to levels beyond beyond extreme, if you will. I mean, even ECW tried to have their own version of China, an
Yep.
ugly version named Nicole Bass, and of course
You didn't
Joey
have to say
Styles.
that. You didn't have to throw that adjective in there.
He didn't, did he?
Well,
We know you didn't have to say it.
Well, I
If
mean,
the shoe
Joey
fits.
Styles sold it every time she come on camera. He would yell, but no. But I mean,
Oh my God! Do
that
you
too.
see this?
He
But no,
probably
like
should-
China for sure
probably should
should
be
definitely
inducted.
be in. Who else is on that list?
Let's
I
see.
kinda
As
want
far
like
as people that are really deserving, let's see. Yeah, the Dynamite Kid. Yes. Mr. Thomas Billington, aka the Dynamite Kid, aka the Tiger Kid. Obviously, him and Davey Boy, the British Bulldogs, one of the greatest tag teams of all time. Very good in Japan. Radio Wars.
Bam Bam.
Yes.
Bam Bam's on
Bam
it.
Bam Bigelow.
Bam Bam's not in it.
No, Bam Bam is not.
That's a
And-
travesty in
And
itself
I
as
mean,
well.
he was. He gave us a glimpse of eventually what Big Van Vader became, because when Bam Bam had his first WWF run back in the late '80s, he was doing stuff like Big Man ain't supposed to be doing that.
Sable's not in.
Yeah, well, that's understandable.
Mrs. Brock Lesnar.
Now, if that's an actual
Miss Elizabeth.
oh, that's a travesty if Miss Elizabeth is not in it.
Elizabeth
Yeah,
needs to be in, but I don't know. I don't think her family is gonna allow her to be in.
Brian Pillman.
No way. No way. No.
I can see. Look, okay. So here's the thing with Brian Pillman. Was he good? Yes.
Yes.
But we only remember him for that psycho year and a half.
Which is a shame.
Brian, you know,
It's a shame because if
Yeah.
they're only remembering him for Pillman 9mm,
I agree. I agree because there was a lot more before that. I
Yes.
agree.
yes,
But when you're talking about
That's all you're gonna remember.
wrestling and how we're telling the story about wrestling, that point in time was super important for that. Like when Brian Pillman, that character came at the perfect time.
Oh, agreed. Yeah.
But it's just with, unfortunately, everything that was going on with Brian Pillman. You know, we know the drug use, we know the alcoholism, we know everything that, you know, happened in his life. And we always, and that's one of those travesty things that we talk about when it comes to wrestling, when you talk about the dark side of the ring. How many names can we go down the list and look and go, holy shit, the potential that they could have had this not happened, or had this not happened, if they didn't get introduced to pain pills and that's one of the reasons why Vince McMahon, they called it, like, I know they said it for show, Satan himself, but no, that motherfucker was Satan himself.
Yep.
He was given steroids. He was encouraging, the pain meds, not giving them the time off that they needed, not paying them for not being, like, if they were being, if you're hurt, you don't get paid.
Yep.
no,
Exactly. Next man up, like that's some truly evil shit.
Stone Cold Steve Austin should be a 2-time Hall of Famer, and I'm going to tell you why. Because the Hollywood Blondes, Austin and Pillman, were one of the great tag teams of the 90s.
Yep.
Yeah.
They were so
Yeah.
damn great. Arn
And
Anderson, Arn Anderson as a solo performer should be a 2-time Hall of Famer.
Oh,
So he's only in with the Horsemen?
He's only in with a Horseman.
That is
he's not in
travesty.
solo?
That's
No.
a travesty.
He's not. No.
The master. I'm sorry, there's nobody who does the fucking spine buster better than Arn Anderson. There is nobody who does the spine buster.
He is the dean of the spine buster, just like Rick Flag is the dean of the DDT. Even though Arn Anderson does a very good DDT himself, nobody does it like Jake the Snake Roberts.
What are some moves that were devastating back then that aren't now that should have stayed devastating? Obviously, the DDT. The DDT is probably top of the list. You're getting dropped on your fucking head.
Right. And if you get sold right, it's
the way
DDT.
Dolph Ziggler,
Spine
Dolph
buster.
Ziggler used to sell the spiked DDTs with, like, just basically penciling himself straight up. Oh,
just like
They're-
Val Venus.
DDT as well.
Just like
Yeah.
Val Venus.
well,
Oh,
Val
Val Venus was perfect.
Yeah, so like the DDT, the spine buster is one of those, like, especially the way Arn did it,
Yes.
the way it looked, as
Yes.
devastating as that looked. Like, I'm
Yes.
sorry, you're getting
The
picked up.
way
I've seen
way
Rampage Jackson spine buster people like that, and they go to sleep. That's a legitimate, like,
no, the way Arn would catch you and wind you and then slam you.
Yep.
Just the whole motion.
momentum
of,
of
the
it.
spine buster was fluid.
yeah,
The superplex. The superplex.
the
was off its luster.
superplex.
Superplex is nice.
But the superplex is like, I agree to a certain extent because it's an avalanche move, essentially. Top rope move. A pile driver. Well,
The tombstone.
yeah, tombstone. I mean, nobody really uses nobody has used a pile driver since Undertaker, and then obviously
Kevin
recently
Owens,
with Kevin Owens,
And
and
I love it. Because
his finishing move.
Because you know what right now is? I like this unhinged Kevin Owens right now.
I'm sorry,
especially-
Kevin Owens has
especially
always been a better
unhinged.
heel.
100%.
Yeah.
100% better heel.
And using banned moves right now is Triple H is just letting these men cook right there
You know why they were banned?
because they weren't doing it right. They weren't doing it right. That's all.
Now you have
Professionals.
absolute professionals.
Yes.
Because Kevin Owens,
The
I'm
ultimate
sorry.
Professional.
he's the master of the pile. He has like 3 or 4 different pile drivers that he can kill people
Now
with.
let's just look at it.
And he does it.
If you look
Perfectly.
at the last one he just did,
Jerry Lawler.
his,
Jerry Lawler would be proud of the
his
way
head
that
was
KO
still
uses
in
the
between his
power.
legs.
But you have to trust Cody in that too.
Yes, yes. It's all
In
trust.
co-
You
like
can see it's all trust. What's going
so
on?
they, you only trust your top guys with crazy shit like that.
Yeah.
Power
You know,
bomb is
so
everything.
now you have, and again, it was setting up perfectly because they showed Cody afterward had his,
Yeah.
because you know who's coming. Penta's coming.
Oh yeah. Come on now.
And his finishing move is the package pile driver.
They're showing they're previewing it to the upper ups that it could be done.
So now we know anytime Penta uses that move,
Mhm.
nobody's kicking out.
No.
It's going to be one of the, so I mean, we can go through a list of finishing moves that it took people forever to kick out of or never kick. How long did it take for somebody to finally kick out of the Dudley Boys 3D?
Oh shit!
Over a decade.
You knew when that guy hit it was done.
Exactly. When with the Usos, 1D.
1D, you're done.
That's it.
Yeah.
You like nobody kicked, like it was those type of type
it was
moves.
almost like
It's got to be that.
Bradshaw's clothesline from hell. How long did it take for people to start kicking out of that?
I think the
The
clothesline
lariat.
from hell should also be a finishing move that
You're done.
if you get hit with a,
Especially if he does it like proper, like when he was back when he was APA days doing it.
I had always said if I ever got into pro wrestling,
The lariat
for
would be
whatever
finisher.
reason, the clothesline from hell would have been my finisher.
The
I
lariat,
swear to God it would have, because
the good old
the
lariat.
way he,
It came up the ropes.
the one he did on Ray, where Ray basically
Inside out.
Are we talking about WrestleMania? Are we talking about WrestleMania?
When
Yes.
he inside out him. He talking about when he inside out Ray.
he came off like the slow and then wound up and boom, boom.
WrestleMania.
I was
23,
like-
I believe.
Yeah, that was one of them. I was like, dude, I'm sorry. Somebody takes a forearm clothesline like that to the head, neck.
Yeah.
You're done.
Done.
And that's Okada using, the slingshot lariat is his.
Mhm.
You know, the Rainmaker is his. I've always thought a really well, powerful executed lariat, fucking devastating.
Like I said, it was abusive when he was doing use it with the APA. When he was just killing folks with the APA. Yeah.
Simmons set him up with the
Oh.
spine buster
Oh,
and then
yeah.
into the clothesline from hell.
Oh man.
APA was one of my favorite
Wow.
tag teams
They were wild.
ever. I love that promo that they did it. I think it was WrestleMania. Was it X? I think it was X7 or X8. But they were basically like the background, playing the cards and everything.
Is that when the
And
Rock
then-
now walked through the door when he walked around?
No.
That was on TV. That was
No,
on
that was
TV.
but it was Bradshaw came in and said like this big old like we're in the house where they love you blue and this just this whole speech and Simmons and I think who was it that they had with them at that time?
They pick up a lackey.
No, they had she was
Jacqueline.
Jacqueline.
Yeah.
When they were all, after he said that, Simmons and Jacqueline were like, all right, fuck yeah, let's go. And they planted, they went out there, handled business, walked out.
APA was wild.
APA was fun.
I loved
They were
it.
a fun
That
team.
was good.
JBL though,
Was
like
it, was it
his
that
heel character.
the Undertaker created them, right? When he was the
Acolytes.
the acolytes,
Ministry,
they became
the Ministry of
ministry.
Darkness.
Yeah,
yes.
they were the
Yep.
ministry, and then they became APA.
The Acolyte Protection
Mhm.
Agency. Yep,
Mhm.
that's what it all.
That
Okay.
gimmick, that gimmick for Undertaker was, I don't know. with the beard and
The
everything.
Ministry Undertaker. Oh.
I get it, but I was like, okay.
See, Ministry Undertaker was what I thought his evolved form
Should have been
taking over everything. That like I always thought, like for that character, for the dead man, persona,
Mhm.
him getting to that level of controlling the darkness and stuff. It's almost like a fucking anime, like Marvel. Like he finally controls the darkness, and now
He got all the stones.
he got all the stones essentially.
Yeah.
Like so that's what. And then after that, it was kind of like, where do you go from there? And then that's when he went
American Badass.
American Badass.
Which was a damn good character.
Well,
The last
but
ride,
it went away from. I mean, you still had like Dead Man Inc. and then when Brothers of Destruction came back.
Yeah.
It came in and we're just Big Evil. It's just
Big Evil. was
it
nice
made
too, though.
it made him more human,
Yeah.
but he did it well because
It's Undertaker.
it's the Undertaker. Mark Calloway is
Big Evil character was nice though, but I did like when he was American Badass. That last ride was pretty cool off the motorcycle.
the last ride was like when he would like prep them up higher and then he hit some people, they landed high up here. I think Spike Dudley took one time
the
there.
worst.
Spike. Okay. Can we
Spike's
talk about Spike Dudley real quick?
the real
Can
MVP.
we really
real
talk
MVP?
about Spike Dudley for a second? Somebody who doesn't get enough credit.
Asset drop.
The real MVP.
Spike Dudley was an absolute fucking soldier. I don't care what anybody says about Spike Dudley. He took bumps that dude, how are you walking?
Yeah.
How are you alive?
Yeah.
You're like 90 pounds soaking wet. And you're going up against 300 pounders who are basically just throwing you through tables, throwing you into anything other than the ring.
Just the last the beating stick.
Throwing you into the crowd,
Yeah.
putting chairs through your face.
Taking the most brutal
Look.
moves ever.
No.
But he would sell them
Oh, of
like,
course.
oh,
Who was it? Was it Bam Bam or was it Sid? But it was some. I want to say it was Bam Bam in the old ECW arena, aka the world's most famous bingo hall. Where Bam
Bingo
Bam
hall.
literally threw Spike into the crowd.
yep.
Probably.
I remember watching that. I was like, holy shit. Because you look at Spike going up against somebody that size. Yeah. You expect him to get tossed the fuck around.
It's like Tozawa. You expect him to go
yeah.
to Braun Strowman. You expect Braun Strowman to throw him into the.
I'm going to throw you into the third deck
Yeah.
because I can. You don't really have to help either. You can. We can get you into the fifth if you help out.
If you want to run off the ropes and come at me full speed, we can make this
Matter of
happen.
fact, I can get you into the upper deck if you really put some momentum into it. But I can get you into at least the third deck. We're good. You don't got to worry about
Oh,
it.
yeah, they'll catch you.
Like those type of guys, like I guess we're talking about like who were some of the most entertaining jobbers.
Well,
I love
Spike.
Spike is great.
Hornswoggle was good.
Hornswoggle, Mikey Whipwreck
Oh Lord.
from ECW
Whipper-
never landed an offensive move for like 3 years. I think it was. It was some crazy shit like that.
Brad-
I love Funaki.
Yes.
I love Fun. I always thought Funaki's character. I loved his music too. Dun, 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 dun. I was just like, yeah, fuck yeah, Funaki, let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
I went to a show. He faced Balls Mahoney one time.
No.
Yep,
I got
Balls Mahoney at the EC. That's when
Got the
ECW was
balls of the ball.
like that was when ECW. I went to the show when Bobby Lashley had gone through the cage on Umaga.
Ooh.
So I was at that show when watching that, but they had the ECW. That's when you like the watered down. Everybody's like, but yeah, Balls Mahoney and Funaki went at it.
Wow.
Like it was a pretty interesting like show. Came out with the chair and everything. Like it was ECW. It was cool, but like I knew what I was watching. I was like, this is not the ECW.
Yeah. Oh,
But I do remember, like when Bobby Lashley went through that cage and landed on Umaga, I was like, oh, well, like, everybody in the crowd was like, oh shit, because we're watching Bobby like
I would
he's
have
running the
loved to
ropes.
see-
Like, the fuck's he running the ropes for? Like, what is he? And then he just jumps right into the cage and clink, clink, clink. You hear like everything detach, and I'm like, holy.
Definitely would have loved to seen Prime ECW live in person at least once.
Oh,
That-
in Philly?
Yes,
Oh my God.
definitely Philly.
That would have been a madhouse. Sandman? Oh. Sandman coming out. Sabu,
Yep.
Taz, everybody. All those prime ECW days, that would have been
RVD.
him. God damn it. I always keep forgetting his name. But RVD in ECW had a rivalry with
Jerry Lynn.
Yep.
Man, those were
Good
some
times.
barn burner matches. Those I used to love watching those two go at it.
Jerry Lynn and RVD was poetry in extreme. It was
Oh,
poetry. Those two. It was
100%.
poetry.
I think
Those two.
Jerry Lynn, Jerry Lynn. Okay. Jerry Lynn, I had thought, and I know me saying this is like, well, you can't even remember his name. Don't fucking worry about that. I know who he is. I always thought he didn't get enough of a push at WWE level. I think he was one of those kind of underrated guys that was kind of, you always kind of go back in hindsight's 2020 that they were ahead of their time.
Yep.
They just they what they were doing, we look at going, fuck, that's crazy. But at the time they're going, nobody's watching that. Nobody's gonna.
Heck, look at this. Steve Corino was about to hit his peak, and then unfortunately ECW went out of business because Steve Corino was one of those guys, and then he started to develop some heat, and then he started getting over, and unfortunately ECW went out of business. But because Dusty had a program with Steve Corino, Dusty enhanced Steve Corino, and thus Steve Corino was starting to get over in ECW, which of course they had that horrible TNN deal. We were all excited that ECW was going to be on network TV, but just the whole TNN deal was just
horrible.
sucky. It was definitely horrible.
But I mean, at least now it's come full circle, and Paul Heyman is being recognized for the wrestling storytelling genius that he is.
Scientist, absolutely, yes, he really is the wise man.
I do like the fact that a lot of the storylines that we see, he's had his hands in some way, shape, because he's always said the thing that he loves to do the most is help out young talent.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I
can't.
Can you imagine when he starts getting more affiliated with NXT?
Well, CM Punk is already there, and that's telling right there. You got CM Punk already in there, giving these kids some.
I love that Shawn Michaels is at the helm of it.
That's
though.
perfect.
See, now it's a good thing you mentioned, because given how we knew how Shawn Michaels was back in the mid '90s, early 2000s.
Thank you, Jesus, for helping that man.
And for those that don't know, Shawn Michaels was a prick, and he was not.
And a half.
He was not.
That's my internet. No.
I think he was getting to the point where he was not a very easy human being to work with.
Oh yeah.
But
Even he came out and said that himself.
But it's it's one of those things when somebody has undeniable talent,
You get cocky.
you get cocky. But then and this is where it goes, like Vince fucked up in managing that. Instead of telling Sean, you need to calm the fuck down.
That
You need, and he's gonna tell. Oh, we did tell him to get it. You
really,
no, you didn't. You didn't really.
you just brush things under the rug more per se than anything.
You waited for it to get bad enough to where you basically, oh, we're gonna
Had to
fire
do it.
you so you can get your help. As if that's gonna help him. Firing him from his job is really gonna help the psyche of somebody who's addicted to pain pills and alcohol. Yeah.
Send them farther
Way to
down.
think, Vince.
Send them farther down.
Vince didn't. Okay. Vince barely gave a fuck about anybody else prior to Shawn Michaels. The saying was already there. The wheel's going to keep on turning whether you're here or not.
Yep. There's a
Vince
dozen-
always had the mindset, I can create another superstar.
There's a dozen of you out there.
Yeah, exactly. I can make another one of you. He doesn't have that mindset of, I need to make sure that this guy has a life outside of this, that his psyche is okay, that he's made, that we're making sure that everything about him, like if we're going to put him as one of the top stars, then we need to take care of him. We need to make sure that there's longevity in it. But we know how Vince was. That was never the case.
I think that's why it's pretty good now with Triple H giving them the time off, the tapings and stuff like that.
It's needed because, again, what they do is tough. People want to look. People
It's a
can
365-day machine.
but people can, and now it's not, which is
No, it's cut down.
which is great
Yeah,
because they
it's
do
cut
the
down a lot.
tapings and stuff,
Yeah, it's cut
and
down
they're
a lot.
cutting down on live shows.
Yeah,
Which I had always said live shows are literally what's killing everyone because you're literally making them work every single day of the week.
Yeah.
The live shows, I know that there's a lot of money that comes in with it. I understand.
Well,
like
not anymore. Not
anymore.
We
No,
just said that before you came back on.
that's what I'm saying. Like not
Yeah,
anymore. And I'm
Triple H
glad
is-
that they're
Triple
going
H.
away from that.
Yeah,
And
Triple H is
I'm-
giving them the time off.
I'm glad that they're doing, when we're talking about the PLEs, they're doing the main four, and they're probably going to sprinkle in one or two. I mean, they're going to have the Saturday night's main event as the pay-per-view or like the PLE in replacing, because let's be real, we don't really need all these little sub
No.
PLEs. They don't really advance anything. It's
No.
it's literally just
No.
it's literally another Raw or SmackDown, but on the weekend.
Yeah.
It doesn't really do too much. So when you
Give
have
us
it,
main event.
exactly
Just
Saturday night main event, one Saturday a month,
Yep.
that kind of does something to develop the storyline. But then when you have other than the main four, I think Money in the Bank. I've seen some people go and say it needs to be its own pay-per-view. I don't think it should. I think Money in the Bank should stay a WrestleMania match the way it was before. Because it's that full year. You got from this WrestleMania now here till the next WrestleMania to catch it like it was before.
Yeah.
Now when it has the event, now it can go past the WrestleMania point. It could but I mean, they rarely do. They've kind of diluted the value of the Money in the Bank briefcase a little bit in the recent years. They did okay with they're doing okay with Tiffany. They're kind of bringing back a little bit of the suspense with
Is
it.
she taking it from Nia? Is that where it's coming?
Yeah. I don't see it happening. I mean, the turn is there. The eye, the lust is in the eyes.
And Kenny
You
say,
list for Elizabeth, yeah.
Yeah, you see Tiffany looking at that title all the time, and Tiffany right now is a big name. People
She's
are
over.
popping. She
Yeah,
is
she's over.
big time
it's
over.
definitely
And
over
she's
the crowd.
deserved so because she's fucking athletic as hell.
100%.
Like that gymnastics background really did
It helps out a lot.
suit her perfectly.
Yeah.
The moonsault, like everything that match that she had, it was like a hardcore match or like a no holds barred match, and then it was one of her last NXT matches,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was against Becky.
Mm.
When Becky had that little NXT run as the champion.
Okay.
For a quick second, and Tiffany, I'm pretty sure it was a match with Becky, and I looked at that going, this is really, at least for me, I'm gonna kind of see, like, is she just that pretty face, or is she gonna be somebody who can have range in the type of matches and type of stories that we can put her in? And at the end of that match, I was sold. I was like, she's going to be on the main roster soon. You know, I don't know when. You know, I think she's going to be one of those names that those young talent names that they're really going to try and this is the next evolution.
Give her a little push.
She's at least the first piece of the new 4 Horsewomen that's coming up. Tiffany Stratton is one of those pieces. Now there's others coming up that we're looking at going, okay, that could be another piece. Roxanne Perez.
Yeah.
She could be another piece.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
She could be another good piece. They just got Julia.
Mm-hmm.
And she can do both roles.
Julia, Stephanie Vaquer, Cora Jade. You know, if she can stay healthy, she gets hurt all the damn time. But like when she stays healthy, she's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then the girl, she's the one who slapped the shit out of Roxanne. She's like, I wish you would. Bow. She's like, I'm gonna slap the shit out of you. I'd like to see you try, and just slap the absolute taste out of her mouth. I forget. God damn it. Her finisher is basically running the ropes and throwing her ass into somebody's face.
Not another Naomi.
Yeah, but that's the finishing move. I'm gonna find it right now. Let me.
Which, by the way, folks, I think if this is just it's official. Hold on.
Jada Parker.
Oh,
that's who it is. She could be another one.
Parker's pretty
So
good.
yes,
too.
it is official. For those that don't know, Backlash will indeed be coming to Mexico in 2025 in Mexico City.
So is Backlash turning into? This is going to be one of our international PLEs, our international mainstay PLEs.
Seems that way because I mean, I go back.
If so, I like it.
No,
Puerto Rico was on fucking fire.
You stole my thunder. I go back to 2023 when they went to Puerto Rico. Man, that was one of the best crowds for a PLE in a long.
They were loud.
Long time.
When Bad Bunny came, look,
Benito.
Bad Bunny. Music wise, I don't really listen to the music.
Mizzle,
That's
go
fine.
ahead and say it. Mizzle, go ahead and say it, Mizzle.
I don't
Say it, Mizzle.
But when that night, I was pretty fucking impressed. I'm not gonna lie. And the crowd kind of fed into that because when they were singing along to his intro when he was coming out, I was like, nah, if I was there, I would fuck putting down the phone. I'm enjoying this. I'm gonna keep this one to myself because this is
up like the Undertaker.
This is an atmosphere that is just holy shit. Yeah. You're talking about places. What were you gonna say?
What the fuck's a Bad Bunny?
I don't know what it is either. But I don't know why you would think of that as being your name.
It didn't take me to watch him at Puerto Rico At first, I was like, "Oh God, they're bringing in," because
Another celebrity
I'm
type
kind of
thing?
skeptical about certain celebrities that come into this business because I take pride in watching this. This is something that I enjoy. I've been watching this shit since I was a kid.
Fair.
So if you're going to come into this,
Have some respect.
have some respect for what these performers are doing.
Yeah.
Like
WrestleMania 37.
Yes, but WrestleMania, the WrestleMania event, I'm
WrestleMania
like,
37.
oh shit. I text Dub, I'm like, I still don't understand what the fuck a Bad Bunny is, but this motherfucker is out here impressing me right now. He's hitting moves.
He was actually
Off the-
putting in the work.
Exactly, just like with Paul. Jake Paul has put in like he's good. Because you know why? Because he can command the microphone. He's a damn good heel, and he has put in the work. That shit him and Ricochet did, that collision.
Logan Paul has just enough athletic ability to do Hangman Adam Page's moveset.
And
That's.
I
Now-
don't even think he can do what he's doing in there.
I'm not saying he isn't athletic. That what him and Ricochet did when they springboarded and met each other in the middle, I was like, all right, that was pretty impressive. I'm not the form and everything. I'm like, all right,
He's getting there.
he's getting there, but
Bad Bunny was more impressive though.
yeah,
Way more impressive.
Yeah.
You can tell that he
So is
worked.
Pat McAfee.
Oh well,
Okay,
no,
see-
Pat McAfee really, because now that I was really like, why?
Pat McAfee versus Adam Cole in NXT when they first fought each other.
Mm-hmm.
When Pat first did his, all of his.
His gimmick.
That's when I was like, holy shit, Pat. Like, that's what you just did was wild.
Yeah.
Now, what he did at WrestleMania and stuff was, again, that's what he did.
Yeah.
That's pretty much exactly what he did, in NXT, jumping straight to the top rope for the superplex, the punt, that's all, stuff, the high flying spots and all that. Okay, he did all of those same ones, in NXT. So that's what I'm saying. When I saw that first one, when he fought Adam Cole, I was like, oh man. I was like, if Pat decides to make this a full-time thing, to be like a manager, a manager who can interfere and do some,
Things.
once in a while spectacular things, that could work. I was like,
him
that.
on the microphone better.
I do like him on the mic.
So,
I
yes.
do like him on commentary.
I do like him on the mic though. It's
Commentary
So, yes,
is fun, and
Backlash
he brings a lot out of Michael Cole that I really like.
Yes. Especially
Yes.
when Braun Strowman
So
comes out.
Backlash will be
When Strowman comes
held
out,
in Mexico City
Mexico
at the
City.
CDMX Arena.
That's a big
Coming to you
arena.
next-
I just don't want to go to Mexico right now. Now's not a good time.
And now there's talks.
I might not be able to come back.
About.
All right. So-
There possibly might be talks about possibly making the Royal Rumble a 2-night event. Which, okay,
a tune.
I understand WrestleMania being I understand WrestleMania being a 2-night event. I don't need the big four being 2-night events. WrestleMania, I understand. But having a Survivor Series,
I'm gonna-
trying to milk these people.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate in this. I'm gonna play devil's advocate in this. Out of all the PLEs, this one might make the most sense to do that. One night, the women's Royal Rumble. The other night, the men's Royal Rumble. Now you can before those matches or whatever, you can do your singles championships, tag, whatever it is that you want to do, mix them up. Hell, if you want to make one night all women, one night all men, you could even do that too. Have the women main event it or something like that. On the second day or night, however it is that you want to.
that makes
go about
sense. I smell.
But
I smell
that-
what you're cooking.
SummerSlam? No. Survivor Series? No. WrestleMania even? I'm not sure if I like WrestleMania being a 2-night event because it's just some of them you don't really need to. I liked when WrestleMania was a 3-hour event because the
Yes.
stories that actually mattered
Mm-hmm.
took place. I didn't care about some of the other stories, but this one, this is for, you call it granddaddy of them all. Just like the Rose
Correct.
Bowl. That should be
In the San Gabriel Mountains in Pasadena, California. Oh, Nelly.
that should be the only you worry about your blockbuster matches. I don't know why 2 nights is necessary. Unless it's for the purpose of letting each one of the matches go.
Yeah.
So if you have 2 nights, so for WrestleMania, back in the day, 3-hour show, you would probably get what? 6 matches?
Give or take, yeah.
Give or take.
All of them being either a title match or there's some sort of stipulation to the match.
Some kind of
Right.
just a thrown in match just because.
So you have, essentially 6 matches that you do. So if you're going to break it into two nights, then those need to still be your biggest stories,
Mm-hmm.
like on either roster or whatever. Basically, all of your titles are on the line.
Yes.
And you have 8 total matches. Total. 4 on one night,
Mm-hmm.
4 on the other. And the reason why you have 4 is because you have each one of those matches, just let them fucking go. You
So no
tell
time
both.
limit.
Don't. You can maybe do the 60-minute time limit, especially if you're going to try and keep it a 3-hour show.
Yeah.
60-minute time limit, they'll probably go maybe a half hour to 45 if they really get something cooking. But
Like Stone Savage.
but you let your top superstar go.
Yep.
Let your art do the talking.
Well, again,
do what you want. Make go make your WrestleMania moment.
Yep.
I go back to WrestleMania 18 with Hogan and The Rock, to where the match changed in the match
Yep.
because the crowd was so
dictated.
engaged. Exactly. And that's the one thing that I have to give Terry Jean Balea credit is, okay, listening to the crowd. Oh, that's what they want. Because, I'm pretty sure what they originally had planned all got flipped during the middle of the match. And
I mean, sometimes you have to do that.
And that's where the ring psychology, no pun intended, comes into play.
Well, that's where all the best wrestlers, that's why they're the greats.
Yep.
Because they can be able to tell mid-match, all right, this is where the crowd is going at this point. We need to feed into that.
Especially if it's something big, it'll get switched.
Exactly.
Regular like Monday Night Raw. Forget what they want.
Yeah.
We're gonna run the show.
Yeah.
Kudos to them though.
Yeah, no, they need to. That's something that they need to stay. Just let them go.
Yeah.
These matches where you basically have these throwaways, time filler. That's what you have promos for.
Squash matches.
As you see what we got now, we're starting to get good quality promos.
You
That
get
old school feel.
You get the promos that have the heel comes out and do a promo, and you have like an old school return.
Yep.
Something a quick, 5-10 minute segment
That's
in
your filler.
between matches.
Yep.
and then get back into what you're really here for. Get ready to invest at least another 20 minutes of storytelling.
Yep.
And if they go longer, obviously you got to keep it, and that's what the refs are for. You guys are telling a great story, but you need to wrap it up.
Yep.
We still got and the way time is looking and what we want to do, you need to.
This is coming from the back.
Yeah, so let's get that.
Damn it!
Yes.
But just 4 matches for WrestleMania at least, if it's going to mean anything for both nights, because everybody looks at night 1 kind of like nobody looks at night 1 the way they look at night 2.
Well,
because
the bigger matches on night 2.
Exactly, all of the
Headliners.
headliners are in night 2. So if you want to make it worth the shit, first of all, your first night is, you could even put it up to a fan vote. Which one would you rather see main event?
Didn't they do
The
that
women,
once before?
the
They did that before.
would you rather see the women's world title match,
Well, the women are killing it right now.
or would you rather want to see the WWE champion, the men's WWE championship?
Well, the women been killing it right now.
So, but that's what I'm saying. You have the fan vote, and whatever the fan vote says, that decides your night 1 and night 2 main events. Whoever wins it, they get the night 2.
Yep. Not a bad idea.
And you keep, again, the stories above it, like, just, they all have to meet, but they all have to have that's the conclusion. Because that's what WrestleMania is. That's the end. That's the conclusion of the story. Now, the Monday Night Raw after is a fresh start for everything else going into, whatever.
Coming out the back to challenge somebody.
There is no dusty finishes. There is no, there is no none of that shit. We're gonna continue the story, and no, this is the conclusion, the finality of it all.
That's it.
Whoever's the champion is now running into the next season as the champion.
And the surprise return.
Of always.
Yeah. Yeah, it just, if you're going to have interferences, that's fine as long as they fit the story.
Yeah.
As long as everything, but again, even with that, there has to be a finality to everything. It's got to be, there's no questions, there's no, oh, he didn't see that his shoulder wasn't down, or he didn't, there's no questions about, it's a clean
polished.
finish too.
Yeah, everything's polished.
Clean finish. 1, 2, 3, or submission. Either one. It's got to be a clean finish. Hardcore match, whatever, tables up. It's got to be a clean finish.
Unless
Clean
you're setting up a story for the next season. That's the only way that I see that.
But that's what the Monday Night Raws the next night are for.
That's true.
That's why those are so packed and so, because people are getting to see, all right, what's next? Now WrestleMania is done. That season, all of our stories, everything's cut off, everything's, done. Now we can get fresh new stories. Now we can see, who's gotten, over, who we can use into the next cycle of everything.
Is it over for CM Punk and Seth Rollins after Monday Night Raw on Netflix? Are they dragging this one?
No.
Mizzle. We're in the new era now of long-term storytelling.
Well, I just want to make sure.
This is going to run for a bit.
They're telling the damn good story. I love it.
This is going to run for a bit.
That in the crowd job that they did, it's.
How long realistically do you think CM Punk has left in the tank?
Maybe 3 years.
3?
3. Especially if they
Depends how they use him, right?
exactly. Does he get a title run?
Not a long one. If he does, he doesn't get a long one. He's gonna get his WrestleMania moment.
He deserves it. Well, slightly does he deserve it?
He's gonna get his main event, and it's gonna be a night 2 main event. That's the reason why he came back. He's gonna get his night 2 send off, You know, that like WrestleMania, like everybody goes home. There's nothing else the next day. You know,
So
that
basically
WrestleMania weekend is now over.
So
CM
basically,
Punk
this damn Cena run that I'm about to have to witness for a year.
but I don't think it's going to be like that though. I don't think it's going to
hope
be. I don't think it's going to be CM Punk just winning every time. There's going to be losses and stuff sprinkled in there. I think that's for sure because again with CM Punk, I think he's starting to get it, especially with Paul Heyman there. That he's starting to kind of come around and realize, start to be that team player.
Yep.
Start to be that guy of, okay, I need to
step up.
Put
Mentorship.
my own ego off to the side. CM Punk has done a lot of fucking growing in these last few years. He's had to. They've made it clear to him.
Oh,
You don't get your shit together. You're not gonna be here a full fucking year.
Yep.
We're not having backstage brawls. We're not having interviews where you're calling everybody fucking children while you're, munching on whatever pastry from the local, pastry shop, down in Chicago. We're not doing that shit.
Yeah.
You can do that with Tony because Tony has no sack. He wants to be everybody's fucking friend.
Yep.
He doesn't want to be the boss that tells everybody what to do. That's why AEW is ran by the inmates. That's why you see what you see with AEW. What they have, you see the potential.
Yes.
What they can have, what they have done before shows what they have the potential to do.
Mm-hmm.
But Tony Khan has no sack, along with not having a spot.
Oh, sack.
He wants to give everybody everything.
Yep.
Whoever's going viral on social, who the fuck are these Costco boom people? Like, oh yeah, we got another chicken big. Who the fuck are these guys?
I stopped watching AEW.
Who is this? Like this kid coming? Like what's his name? The Rizzler. Why?
See,
why are y'all here?
Cheeseburger.
What does any of this? Oh, he was an aspiring. He's viral for going to Costco, and he had aspirations at one point of being a professional wrestler. So you take your best jobber in your company and have him lose to him. What?
yeah,
With his kid getting involved in the process.
no.
Hitting him with a spear that in reality you could take down no adult. They are lucky that I can't even think of his name right now. I'm so enraged with what. Like the fact that he had to job to that is like, bro, what am I here for?
Collect the check.
Like this is just like if you think that your company is gonna last in the long run, when all you do is just throw money at people, just what WCW did, throw money at people, but have no. Just let them run and do whatever the fuck they want to.
Yep.
Creative control.
That's the type of bullshit. Like, you need to understand if you're running a wrestling company, you need to know how to fucking control the chaos and the egos that are happening.
Comes with it.
You need a second lieutenant.
Because that you can't allow that to constantly happen.
You need word a second lieutenant.
Agreed.
Because now. How embarrassing is that to have these top superstars and you can't even sell out a quarter of the crowd at the arenas you're going to? You have to downgrade where you're holding your because nobody, and even those you're not even
Yeah.
halfway to selling out.
Can you tell a good story?
You know, because Tony Khan's already said it. We're not. He's week to week. He doesn't. He doesn't think about long-term storytelling like that. He's a week to week guy. He's come out and said that.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
You know, so that's
why is he wasting these wrestlers' time then?
These wrestlers collecting a check, just waiting for their opportunity to get back into the WWE.
Well, so I don't think some of them been burnt bridges that they can't even make it back.
I mean, from what I've been seeing with Ricochet, I'm like, holy shit. Wow, that is absolutely exposed that he cannot talk worth a shit.
And now they're understanding why WWE did what they did with him.
Like, they did their best with him, too. They gave him every opportunity that they could have possibly given him. They put him on a pedestal because athletically, the shit that he can do, holy fuck, right? But he can't talk. He can fly, but he can't talk.
And that's what you need to have in this business. You gotta hold the microphone. You gotta be able to. Hell, Gunther has come a long way.
You know what? I think Gunther's always been able to talk. He just hasn't had to. He's been playing that big silent monster.
Whoop your ass, come in, whoop your ass, and leave.
The loudest thing about him is his chop to your chest. That's all you need to hear. You don't need to hear him talk. You need to hear him slap the fuck out of somebody's chest
and leave a mark on it. Yeah, he's
that's what at least for that. But now, obviously, if you're a world champion, you need to be able to talk.
You gotta have the microphone.
You have to be able to have the microphone, and he's great. He obviously can polish things. Everybody can get better.
You can tell he put in the time.
Oh yeah, we're talking about somebody who's definitely going to that next generation pillar that they're going to rely on. Who's going to be a multi-time world champion? He's going to be a multi-time probably WWE champion at one point.
I like his reign. His reign is pretty good right now.
What he did with the Intercontinental Championship, what he did with the UK and the NXT Championship, and everything. He's getting in better shape. He looks great. He's just a big power. And what's cool about it, a lot of his moveset is the old school powerhouse.
Power bomb.
The power bomb. Yeah. Just the old school
old physicality.
And that's another reason why I like him. He uses the old shit effectively. A simple splash, from the top rope, devastating.
Yeah, or the kick that he puts into the rope, so he pushes him into the ropes and then pushes him into that power bomb. That thing.
He's athletic for his size and everything too. But Gunther is, I don't know why they changed the name. I think Walter was fine, was still strong. But I mean, Gunther's fine, but it's only fine because Gunther himself makes the character. Like, the name is not necessarily needed because it doesn't matter what the name is. Yeah, he's going to make it work.
He can just walk out with no music in the ring.
Walter Walter. I don't care what you make the name.
Yeah.
He's going to make it work. He's going to be a world champion regardless. But when you're talking about the PLEs, Royal Rumble may be the only. I don't want to see it be a 2-night thing.
Yeah.
But out of all of them, that may be the only one that could work. Because
see it.
Each Royal Rumble at minimum runs an hour.
Correct.
So,
because a lot of times you'll have the first Royal Rumble be the first match of the event.
and then you sprinkle in the matches in between that don't make no sense. Like that match should have been longer than what it was, but I get it because you're trying to fit the Royal Rumble in here. So yeah,
I don't think either the world or the WWE title should be on the line at the Royal Rumble. I think those, if you're going to have it on the one night, you have both. Since they each go at minimum 60 minutes, most of the time they go longer than that.
Yep.
You're not going to have a whole lot of time to tell. That's literally 2 hours plus already in your 3-hour time slot that you're working for, that you're not really going to get a whole lot of productive story, out of it. So you have your Intercontinental, your United States, championships, they're having for the women now too. So with the women's United States Championship, so you can have all of those, tag team, whatever it could be.
Yeah.
Those fillers in the middle. But the Royal Rumble matches are who to decide who challenges for
whatever title.
And I like the idea of the champions standing and watching basically what their fate is going to be.
Man, I like that. Yeah.
That the anticipation of, all right, who am I going to fight at WrestleMania? Like who's the person who I'm going to main event with?
Yeah.
Like that's how it, personally, what I think it should be like.
Real quickly, there is a pay-per-view coming up to you on Saturday, as AEW will be presenting its final pay-per-view of the year called World's End. Here is the card real quickly. Here's the rundown.
It's a little low, Dub.
I don't know what else you want me to
There
do.
you go. That.
I've been doing that.
Okay,
Anyhow.
that'll work again.
Here's the event. Here's the rundown. Here's the card for World's End for AEW coming to you up on Saturday on pay-per-view, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. You got the semifinals and finals of the Continental Classic. You got MJF and Adam Cole for the Dynamite Diamond Ring. For the International Championship, we got Hobbs against Takasha. For the TBS Championship, you got Mercedes against Statlander. In a Tijuana street fight, you got Thunder Rosa and Mariah May for the Women's World Title. And in the main event, four-way dance, the current AEW champion, Jon Moxley, taking on Hangman Adam Page, Jay White, and our boy, freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy.
Oh.
Does anybody else not give a shit about Mercedes Moné right now?
No.
I kind of don't care.
I totally forgot that she was over here.
And for those that want to watch, here's how you can watch on pay-per-view. Obviously, your cable and satellite providers. Triller TV pay-per-view on YouTube, payperview.com, or you can go to Dave and Buster's nationwide.
Oh, there was F. Logan Paul. Did we get all that up there?
I don't think I saw that one.
We had.
He's just got a lot in there.
They should have kept AJ and John Cena. Here we go. Here we go to John Cena. Then we got F. Logan Paul. Putting him on.
Obviously, EJ is not a fan of Logan Paul, obviously.
That's just
Clearly not.
nope.
But a lot of things going on, of course. Countdown to the Rumble, countdown to World's End, stuff going on in Impact. I don't know why Christian Cage is not catching in the dang contract. It's becoming almost ridiculous now. But nonetheless, glad that you're hanging out with us here on the Ring Psychology Podcast with JP Mizzle and myself, Double A. I know it's been a long 2 months. I promise we will not go another 2 months before we do another show. We promise, we promise, we promise.
Yeah, that's too long. Apologies for that. That's way too long.
Yeah.
We'll get it going.
Especially with a lot that's going on now.
Yeah.
With it.
WrestleMania season is quickly coming upon us. Pause.
I might have to do a watch party that day. Still know which night.
We'll figure something out.
Yeah.
We always do.
Definitely.
Always do.
Obviously, the next PLE will be Saturday night's main event. That will be your PLE 4. Mizzles.
Was that January 25th?
January. It is the 25th from the Frost Bank Center in San Antonio, Texas. And of course, it will be a Peacock and an NBC simulcast. And of course, the Royal Rumble officially kicks off the road to WrestleMania 41, which will come to Las Vegas. Of course, the Royal Rumble will take place on February the 1st in Indianapolis, Indiana, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, that is Lucas Oil Stadium.
I think I'll be seeing Tony Baker that night.
Okay, so SummerSlam.
It's gonna be a fun night.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so SummerSlam will be a 2-night event.
So SummerSlam is 2 nights.
SummerSlam 2 nights at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey.
Why?
Just like WrestleMania 41 will be the 19th and the 20th at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas.
They're really trying to,
And people are gonna go. What's the
people are going to spend their money.
They better make it big ramifications with this.
I kind of feel like you have to with the Big Four. If you're gonna make literally 4 pay-per-views a year, and those are really gonna be your main showcase of what you're gonna do from here on out, then yeah, there has to be big time ramifications.
Big
Now,
time.
it being 2 nights, no, that doesn't have to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It could be 1 night. If you didn't make it on there, then your story wasn't
It didn't
compelling
fit.
enough for us to put on the card. Sorry, it is what it is. If you're over, you're on the card.
I agree.
You're still getting paid. You're under contract. But enjoy it from the stands. You got the night off. Enjoy.
Yeah.
You're getting paid for a night off. Look at
Yeah.
you. I understand you want to get to your moment and everything like that, but right now we can't. We don't have the room for it.
Yep, doesn't fit.
It just doesn't fit. Now, if you want to be one of those, try and cut a promo, one of those filler, spots, maybe we can work something out.
But as a wrestler, no.
We can't have you. We can't. It's not that we can't or don't want you to, but we don't have the time for it.
SummerSlam 2 nights. That's very.
I don't know. I don't know if I like that.
Yeah, same.
I don't know if I like that at all.
Definitely don't kind of take that.
But Dub, sir,
Yes, sir.
please take us out.
Well, fans, we appreciate you hanging out with us on this long-awaited episode of the Ring Psychology Podcast, which you can check us out on Jaffos TV, on the Jaffos TV YouTube channel, which also is currently on the show channel, so you can watch this episode on either of those pages. But we'll be back to, first and foremost, hope you guys had a good Christmas, and if we don't come to you again real soon, please have a safe, prosperous, blessed 2025. And from all of us here at the Ring Psychology Podcast, we say Happy New Year to all of you guys. Happy 2025. Interesting things going down in AEW, Ring of Honor, New Japan, NXT, WWE, and we will all be here for that because this is the Ring Psychology Podcast. For Mizzle, for JP, I'm Dub Shivani, and we'll see you in the ring.
Thanks.